traditional territory of the Sitka First Nation. It's on their land that we live, work, and play. In front of you, you have a public hearing, and there's an agenda in front of you. Can I have a motion to approve the
So moved.
all in favor? Carried. Okay, there's a statement that I need to read. Am I right?
Yes.
This public hearing is convened pursuant to Section 465 of the Local Government Act in order to consider zoning amendment bylaw number 1238-2022. The purpose of this bylaw is to change the zoning of the subject property from R1 single-family residential to R3 multiple unit residential. This will allow for single-story multi-unit seniors housing complex. At this public meeting, any person who believes their interest is affected by the proposed bylaw shall be given an opportunity to be heard on the matters contained in the proposed bylaw. However, it is important that all who speak at this meeting restrict their remarks to matters contained in the bylaw, and the responsibility of the chair of this meeting is to ensure that all remarks are restricted. Those of you who wish to speak concerning the proposed bylaw should, at the appropriate time, commence your address to council by clearly stating your name, address, indication if you are for or against the proposed bylaw. Then you may give council the benefit of your views. Members of council may, if they wish, ask questions of you following their presentation. However, the main function of council members this evening is to listen to the views of the public. It is not the function of council at this public hearing to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw with individual citizens. Everyone who deems their interest to be affected should be given the opportunity to be heard at this meeting. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making their views known. Everyone is encouraged to exercise their right to express their own views and have those views heard by an impartial forum. After this public hearing is concluded, the council may, without further notice, give whatever effect council believes proper to the representations made at this hearing. Okay, so in front of you, you have changed the bylaw of the proposed property from R1 to single family R3. And so it would allow for a single story multi-unit seniors housing complex. And you have all the requests for decision, the resolution letter from the surrounding property owners. And as far as I know, we only have one letter.
Yes,
And I
that's true.
think you have a copy of that in your desk. Do I need to read it out?
You can if you like, Mr. Mayor. Otherwise, it will be attached to the public hearing minutes for the public and for council.
What would you like me to do?
You could read it into the record.
I didn't do well in reading and writing or Excel sheets. My wife and I reside at 479 View Street, which is across Recreation Avenue from the subject property noted above. We have an interest in the vacant lots developed from the following perspectives. Firstly, the community garden, riverfront trail, floodplain access to the river generates a lot of family and child foot traffic. A multifamily complex would increase the traffic in the area, controlling traffic speed, visibility, and pedestrian protection is important. In lieu of the above, we wonder where access to the complex would come from, number one, and would be opposed to loop traffic from Riverview through to Recreation. Further, we feel that access from Riverview Drive would be better for pedestrian safety due to the foot traffic to the floodplain. Lastly, a large multi-story building would have an impact on the viewscape to the east, and wonder how many stories the structure would be. Signing Keith and Rebecca Sandy. So, and there's no other written ones?
Nope.
Anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Okay, seeing none. What's my role now? Just to adjourn?
Yes.
Okay. Like somebody like to adjourn this meeting? Someone,
I'll second.
all in favor? Carried. Okay, then we'll go to community building. We've already done the territorial acknowledgement. 1.1, here the calls to action, and they focus in basically on health and justice, the last one, but 3 on one health. And I don't know if anybody has any comments that they want to on those 5 that are there. Okay. Then on to our agenda. You have an agenda in front of you. Have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved. Seconded.
There's no additions or deletions. Okay, seeing none. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, you have minutes of the housing committee. Sure. You didn't want these received to review.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the mayor to council. The 2 sets of minutes, or the sets of minutes that come onto committee of the whole agendas are just for information. If they have action items on them, and then they go to the regular council meeting. So these are just minutes with no action items for information.
Does anybody have any questions regarding either housing or tourism? Yes, Councilor.
Housing.
Go ahead.
I want to ask the committee members if, not to go down, but I'm trying to find out for my own interest. Have we discussed, it seems like we need to get a developer to look at a 20 lot subdivision or 50 lot subdivision or anything like that. Have we gone down the road to look at bringing anybody in? Is that on the table to look at, or?
As it like to invite a developer to
Yeah.
come in and look at those?
Yes.
No, we haven't. What we did at our last meeting is we were looking at available properties for development and trying to determine which properties would be the best to start promoting. So that's where we're at right now. Yes.
And I think, we talked to communities that have done that, we talked to Smithers, et cetera, we've done those types of things. But for that kind of action, I think that would be something that would go through council. We would come back and say, we would like to propose to staff, start to communicate to the developers X, Y, and Z or whatever kind of thing. We would have done that on our own without council's blessing.
So just on that topic, the 3 areas that you identified, Hargreaves Hospital, they already have the needed infrastructure to go ahead and develop.
Significant portion. But
Yeah.
there was some question like the council was around verifying water and other pieces. And so that's what some of our meetings have been about, is whether or not we have the public works pieces in place. And we're close in a lot of those areas and we might be in others.
Because I think that's, if you want to market something that, it's more marketable when we can tell them exactly what's there. And, the hospital road piece, there's a little bit of a fix, I think, that's needed there. Hargreaves is good to go. Mountain View, that would have to be its own separate.
Yeah, I think both water and lagoon. So if you're looking at Mountain View, I guess to me is, I certainly would encourage you to look at the piece at the end of Marquette, that
Right.
section.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, it's certainly there and the government is looking to work with us on it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. UCM, who's all going to UBC this year. Will you?
I am.
Of course. No. Okay, so I will.
And I'm going as well, yeah.
And Council Mutray, everybody here other than Councilor Murphy. And tomorrow, when Councilor Stevens comes in for his update, maybe just check with him.
Yeah.
That all you need?
Mr. Mayor, we're also asking about minister meetings.
Yeah.
Has the request come out from UBCM to start booking minister meetings or?
Not
we
yet.
started getting?
Yeah.
Okay. There's some time to.
Mhm.
So, when I was looking at this, one of the things that I thought of, or a few things that I thought of was, go back to the foundry fees. And I'm just wondering if we could, consider, I don't know if that's something that we would like to consider, but a primary care facility plan for integrated health services delivery and a building. It would be nice to see some kind of a plan because we're going to need a new hospital, we need a clinic, some kind of a plan that's not just these isolated pieces, but something that's more integrated. That's the thought that I had. And maybe that's something we need to flesh out more. Sorry.
I think that's already been done by Northern Health.
Oh, has it? Okay.
Yeah, I think they're working on their primary care plan.
Okay.
I don't know. I've tried numerous ways to find someone to hear us to go down to Victoria to
Okay.
find them. I will try, kind of my trump card tomorrow to see what it is. But I know that Northern Health is already built and integrated, but now I don't know about the foundry aspect of it.
Mhm.
But the primary care facility, I don't think when we met with them, the foundry was on and I think the location of the foundry would be quite a bit different than the location of the.
I was gonna say, you'd want to have a location probably possibly downtown. Or
Right, where you can walk in. Mhm.
That seems to be what really was keeping a lot of the youth, for example, just, you wouldn't think it would be that big of an issue, but it really was. So having, for example, at NDSS, having the doctors there, and counselors there, they seem to be utilized more by just getting real quickly come in instead of, so.
So is that something that we need to continue pushing for though? Is that really do you think that the foundry and the, our healthcare facilities in this community are something that I would like to not see off our radar and continue pushing that? The other piece that I would like, and I'm not sure if, the new budget that came out, if this has already been covered, but when we're talking about housing, and I think it's consistent with many rural communities, particularly resource-based communities, is infrastructure for housing. The infrastructure is money for infrastructure, for maintenance, for updating infrastructure. I'm not sure what the government's plan is with that, but I think that's an important piece of getting some housing stimulated.
Gerald, have our speaking notes that we have shared those for this next week in Paris with council, haven't we? Yeah.
So through the mayor to council, there is a meeting in Terrace on Friday for the RBA. That is a closed meeting that the mayor will be speaking at. And I can't speak to the specific contents of any speaking notes for that meeting. That said, a core objective of the Resource Benefits Alliance has been to secure ongoing sustainable infrastructure funding for communities.
Okay, I think, like Councilor Franco said, I think we need take a few days to really decide what our focus wants to be at these meetings and where, what we would like to, really see that going forward and how we want to address it. But I think the foundry issue, I guess the one area I like, and some of you have better insight into this than I do, but I think we should get partners to partner with us on advocating for a foundry. I think to get,
Those are the only ones I think have been successful within multiple partners of the communities, like Northern communities.
I think what we heard at one of our meetings was that they would look at doing a foundry in the area, but it would have to be a regional foundry. But I think if we can show as a community that we're the most prepared, and if we could work with our health and education people to work on that, I think it would be wise.
So I know I've already discussed this with across the street with the court office there, and they were working together if we want to partner on that piece. And I was just maybe looking for other partners as well. At least a tri-partner.
Yes, Gerald.
So through the mayor to council, on the foundry piece, there's not an open call yet for funding towards a new foundry. We're keeping our eye on the foundry website to see when that third funding round is going to be open. When it does come open, the district won't be able to apply for it directly. It'll have to be through a nonprofit partner. And our management intern can speak more to the foundry program.
Thank you, Gerald. Through the CAO to Mayor and Council, I am currently developing a report that just goes over the proof of development period for Foundry. So it identifies what kind of groups we should be partnering with to put forward that application and what the required expectations are of a Foundry Center, what kind of services have to be delivered. So hopefully soon we'll have some discussions from Mayor and Council on which organizations they would like to partner with in making sure that we check all those boxes so that when the Foundry phase, like when they open their next phase for funding, then we already have a prepared team of organizations to kind of take on that application. Thank you.
I think it's really important that we do that because I can tell you other communities are already out there prepared and ready to go on this. And so I think, when it comes, it seems like it comes in fast. We need to. Good. Okay, 4.2, arena policy, arena fee.
So through
Sorry.
the mayor to council.
Okay, just hang on one
no.
second. Apparently I've done something wrong.
No.
Oh, sorry. What are you saying?
No, go ahead, Gerald.
Through the mayor to council, there's a recommendation before you to adopt the arena policy, or to recommend at the next council meeting to adopt the arena policy and gift readings to the bylaw that's attached. Our director of community services is here to answer any questions council may have about the policy or bylaw, and to provide any additional background council may require as well.
Okay, storage. Can you describe to me what is the storage that you're talking about and so, and for what months would that storage be there for?
So through mayor to council, all user groups have storage in the arena. So for instance, the speed skating, they have half of the bleachers. So they store all extra pads, skates for their user groups. And then they have basically a whole change room where they store stuff too. So they have the most storage. And then minor hockey has an old storage room. And then Marty has a smaller one for e-bus. Ladies hockey, rec hockey, muckers all have their own small little unit underneath the first set of bleachers. So there's quite a bit of storage that's been stored there over the years. And, you know, I think it's important that the user groups realize, you know, to only store what's necessary. Because I find with the user groups, they keep bringing more and more stuff in, and then we don't have places to store stuff, right? So I think it's important they understand that, you know, they should be paying for that storage. It was in the agreement prior to, but it's just something that we never, you know, made sure they paid for. So I think it's important that they understand. Maybe then they'll bring in less or take away anything they're not using, because right now we have quite a bit of stuff kicking around that doesn't need to be in there.
Okay. Any questions on that?
You were charged before,
It's just, nobody's, I guess, nobody,
It's been in the policy. we
it's
just
been in the
haven't followed
policy,
through.
it's just nobody's, you know, this year I would like to make sure that they pay that before even being on the ice. Getting
Yeah.
their stuff.
When I first read it, I misunderstood. I thought people were gonna start moving campers in there. Oh, that's right. Okay,
move that we look at this at the next council meeting, give it 3 readings.
so you move it to council to give it 3 readings?
Yep.
Is there a seconder?
Second that.
I have a question. On item number 9, ice allocation.
Yes,
Okay. Is that gonna cause us any controversy, that number 3?
no,
No.
not at all. And the reason for that is our main ice users book during their ice user meeting. So the reason why I wanted to put this in here is because we have players in our own town that travel to Burns Lake, Fraser Lake, because they're on that Northwest District team. And Northwest District has never rented off of us because we charge them adult rate. So it only makes sense that we bring that rate down, and that would, you know, bring in more people to our arena.
Into the community. Good. Okay, so we have a recommendation to bring this to our next meeting, to give three readings. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, Vanderhoof Tourism and Cultural Center operating policy.
Through the mayor to council, there's a recommendation before you to adopt the attached policy at the next meeting, along with giving 3 readings to the proposed bylaw at the next council meeting. Both our Director of Community Services and Management Intern are here to answer council's questions regarding both items.
Yes, go ahead.
So I just had a question about how do we rent out, like our arena, and not rent it, but have we ever allowed it to be used for free in the past? Is that through a grant and aid, or is that usually done as a request to council?
So usually it was, I shouldn't say usually it was, because I don't know for sure. I've just in the past, when somebody requested something, it was just something we just did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned, like, because they would have to know, I guess, prior to the end of October that they want to use the facility and request it for free as a grant and aid. Just, I'm not sure we're always that organized.
And that's why,
Yeah.
my first question mark with 3.2 as well,
Yeah,
is I think that's gonna be tough. And I can tell you, I can just think of one the other day. The guy that has a church, but they're an international church. So they have people coming from Sweden and United States and stuff like that coming here. Well, the thing is, if that little church said, hey, we want to showcase our town, what better place would it be than the cultural center, right? And so the thing is, but like I said, I know they're pretty small, and I don't know, what they would be. And I guess my concern is they in no way would know in October to ask for it come for 2022. So the thing is I struggle with 3.2.
gonna do that. I do too.
We just scratch over and replace it with can be granted. So if you're on top of it, you can get the granting aid process, and if you're not, then you deal with it as needed.
Well, preferably, or
Yeah,
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Preferably.
I'll let Vince has his hand up. Go ahead, Vincent.
Thank you. Regarding item 3.2, so the grant and aid policy just has the one intake in October. If people want to circumvent the grant and aid policy, they can still and have been submitting requests to mayor and council to have it waived. If you feel that doesn't accommodate, that might be something that we'll have to, Margaret might be able to chime on this, but reviewing the grant and aid policy and how our structure works for that, maybe providing an additional intake. But whether or not we add the word preferably, residents would still have the option to bypass the fees section in this policy by writing to mayor and council and ask that it be waived. Not that we want to lay out that option for all residents, but that option is still available. Thank you.
So do we want to add the word preferably in it?
I would like to suggest we do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's fine.
so would you like to make a motion that we accept this policy and just add the word preferably into 3.2 and then send it to council meeting for first, second, and third readings?
I can make that motion.
You second, Councilor. Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, building committee report. Aaron, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, so to mayor and council, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have regarding the report.
Nothing new on the horizon that we can cheer about, that you can
Yeah, there is.
say?
It's not all doom and gloom. I understand council's frustration, but I have been in contact with a few builders for residential homes this year, so that's encouraging.
Well, it's positive, you know, that people are seeing the opportunity. Nothing on a commercial things or there?
Nothing new.
Nothing.
Like the large permit for the restaurant facility, that one isn't captured in this year's, even though it's gonna start, the permit was issued in 2021, so it's a little misleading because the project will start this year, but it was captured in 2021. So, other than that, I haven't heard of any large commercial or industrial stuff to date. Yeah.
Good. Okay, any questions? Seeing none, fire department report. Okay. Then community services report. Comment on any of it, Heidi, at all?
Through mayor to council. Actually, I thought it was, a really good season. I don't know, you guys felt the excitement just having lots of people around us, so, that was my highlight, just to get people back in the building and, you guys changing, us able to have, people in the building on stats was a huge, change, and you can see through family day events, and yeah, it's been really good. So, I appreciate you guys, working with us and, opening up those stats again, and yeah, I just wanted to say thanks.
Do we have any rough numbers of, and we're always weather related around that outdoor arena, but do we have any idea how many people may have used that? The ice rink?
I got quite a few phone calls about just, is there lights we can turn on? I
Yeah.
think on average, I think, you know,
Seemed like there was always people there.
Yeah.
When it was cold.
Yeah.
After the nets melted into the ice.
yes, when the nets got into the ice, that kind of, you know what, I don't have, maybe that's something we could actually try to maybe, you know,
Tough year for an outdoor rink, so good to see you getting used.
Started late.
So,
Yeah.
lots of people have come to me and said, thank you for doing
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
especially those that were unvaccinated. That was a huge.
Good.
So,
How many weeks did it get, was it there till it did melt and I
I
should have known?
think it was the middle of February when we called her quits. It was
Okay.
getting
And
pretty,
it opened up right around the 1st of September, didn't it?
no,
January.
it was January because.
I mean, January,
Yeah.
1st of January, I'm sorry.
September's a little rough, but.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, that's, yeah.
We just never know each year.
No.
Yeah, it's hard when you don't have.
Consistent.
Just to make a comment to Heidi, to thank her and her crew for what they do down there. Whatever you guys do we're back inviting people in our facilities, and that's kudos to you guys, and keep it up, so thank you.
Well, through mayor to council, honestly, it's the team, you know, we can only do good when we have people above, below and around us, right? And, you know, I think we have a great team here. I'm excited for the years to come.
Well, I like to kind of go on Councilor Murphy's is just your innovative ideas. And when I was down at the rink, I saw a lot of happy faces. And it was a pleasure to walk through there every day. So,
And that's why I took this position, 100%. It's all about, you know, getting people back involved with events. And, you know, I think everybody's going through a little bit of depression right now, and we just got to get them out there.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just had a question, Heidi, about the concession. Like, when do we start looking for folks to do
That's- yeah.
the concession? I saw a lot of booster juice concessions when I was out.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that.
Thinking that's a good idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea, actually. I have looked into a couple of different
Okay.
options. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and the plan is to probably get that out so people are aware that we are looking for people.
Okay.
It's on my list of
Okay,
stuff.
good.
Don't worry.
Public Works Department.
So to the mayor and council, public works report is in front of you. Any questions? Be free, be more than happy to try to answer them.
Yes, Councilor.
I don't guess what it might be. So we have a ADCO trailer that looks pretty great. Have we, out there at the airport, do we have plans on how that's gonna look?
No, we have a new location for that trailer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gonna be, we're gonna move it again to closer to the other facility, the Blind Club's facility.
Okay.
So once the ground is firmed up a little bit, we'll move that and then.
Well, pilots that come in, it's the location where it is now. I do appreciate where it is because a pilot will come in. If we have a sign that says washrooms, they'll see that that's a building with washrooms. If it's back around a corner again, they're gonna be knocking on Ministry of Forest Wildfire again. Can you use your bathroom? And so as long as signage and stuff. Yeah, I kind of liked where it was, but maybe others didn't, but I kind of liked it because it was right there. Did it meet all of in its current location? Did it meet all of NAV Canada's setbacks and all of that?
It did meet that. There was one concern with handrails or access, like accessibility, stairs or steps. There's a pretty tall step into the building there.
So
Could we see a plan before it moves?
You bet.
Okay, thanks. No, yeah. But pilots will be quick and and again, Mr. Pierce, we don't want, because they're fueling up right there. If it's around the corner and they can't see it, they're going right behind Mr. Pierce's hangar again. And that's not what we want. We want it up in front of everybody and so they can see where to go.
Front center.
Yeah, but if there's a good reason why, then I appreciate that too.
yes,
I really liked having a schedule for operations.
Mhm.
I had one question on there, which was weed control. I know it's when we normally do weed control. Would it be more effective if we moved that earlier? Like on farming, we always used to try and hit it earlier than that, right?
Yeah, so there's two school of thoughts with that, Councillor Moutre. In the fall, they say we get a better kill. And then in the spring, it's not as effective. So that's why we've done it in the past in the fall. We're going off of recommendations from the applicator.
Okay.
So we can definitely look at spring applications if that's council's wish, for sure.
I don't think so much spring. I think more, when, especially with Canadian thistle, when it goes into bud, kind of that July, region there kind of thing.
Before the seeds fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wish that you could talk to the science of it. I know I've heard that same story about the fall. I've always wondered if it was the applicator that said, oh gee, I got a free window of time here. This is the best time to do it, Not to doubt your application guy, but the thing is that it just, I just would really love to know that that's the right science, say, behind it. Because we seem to be getting a lot more, and there's way more weeds in the last 10 years. The whole north is being, just totally run over by different new weeds that are coming in. And so, yeah, just.
Yeah, that was the focus last year with public works and also right of ways was the Canadian thistle. So I'll make note of that and make sure that the applicator is aware of timing for that.
Good. What about others than thistle, I know at the RD, we sometimes bring in somebody from government on weed control kind of a thing. I don't know, it would just be interesting, because we're such a big municipality, and we have so much outlying area. It's way different here than it is Smithers State, where they're a smaller footprint.
Okay.
But it would be interesting just to understand the different weeds other than, thistle used to be always the big thing. They worry about that. It used to be so much more nowadays.
On your traffic markings, is that earlier than we've done it the last couple of years?
It is just a little bit, and the reason why is because we're trying to push. This year, we're having a hard time getting paint. And so if we get a window for paint and the application is right, painting will happen sooner.
So that's good. I think sort of felt it was a little late some years.
Yeah.
And hopefully the snow will be gone so you can't paint in May, but never know. That's good.
Excellent.
Just an update too, for the airport, the CCRs, they were scheduled for the end of April, but those are actually here. And they will be hopefully installed, starting to be installed Monday or Tuesday of this coming week.
Good. Okay, any other questions? Well, that's a great report. Very, it helps if somebody comes and asks you a question, the information is so clear and available for you. I really appreciate that. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, decision tracker. Gerald,
I can speak to that.
do you want to speak?
Yeah, thank you. Through the mayor to council. I just want to note that, so this is the second time we've put it on the committee of the whole agenda. The items that you see that are marked complete or item not operational, we'll keep them on as complete for one meeting, and then the next one, they'll be gone, just so we don't keep building. But we want you to see that the item is complete, and then I'll take them off, and when they come back to council, they'll be gone. But if you have any questions about any of those, I can.
I like that format, but is there a way maybe the last page could be just the list of the ones that were completed? Or is that just gonna throw it all off?
It's just more formatting. I could do that.
No, that's fine. It's just gonna be more, it would just be nice to be able to go, what happened to, oh, it's, look, there's 17 of these things that were completed.
Oh, but there won't be that many
It just,
every time.
as example.
Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, for the year, like, so you say you take it off.
They won't show up on here at all. They're done.
Yeah. I
They're
know.
gone. So they won't be on this tracker anymore. You won't see them once they're complete. You'll see them once
I know, but
saying they're complete.
I get that. I was just thinking it'd be nice to have the progress because then you can see all these things that were completed. You following what I'm saying? It's like a progress chart for me. I'd go, okay, these are things that are still in, they're still being worked on but at the end of the document, show all the things that have been completed.
Well,
Completed up to these. But if that's a problem. go
no,
ahead.
no, we can. It'll be up to about 40 pages.
No,
But
never mind.
council, I
don't wanna
can
read
give
40 pages.
council access to the tracker. It's in,
That'd be good.
it's in Civic Web, so I'll
Yeah.
work on
Okay,
that.
we don't-
No reading problem.
How about if it was just even highlighted in yellow or orange, the completed ones?
It would still, by this time this year, it'd be, I mean, I had to squish it into 8 pages. If you had all the complete ones in there already.
No, if you just the 8 pages that you have, rather than
Oh, I see.
saying completed, just have that highlighted. And your eyes would immediately go. to
So
that.
you know the
Yeah,
complete,
it stands
okay,
out, right? You're just going, boom, that was done. Good, that's done.
okay,
For one meeting and then they go into.
yeah,
So
okay,
it highlights.
okay.
Any
Okay,
other comments?
thank you. That's
40
good.
pages. Yeah, I want to test it.
I don't have all that.
Well, the resolutions are.
Ken does.
Okay. No other questions? Accounts payable. Any questions? Yes.
Move to adjourn to camera.
Not the only
I'd
question.
just like to acknowledge, our CAO and corporate officer went to a conference last week, and I understand somebody got an award or recognition. Do you want to speak to that at all, Gerald?
Yeah, so I'm very pleased to steal the thunder from the District of Lake Country. And congratulate William again for being recognized as a certified risk manager in Canada, actually. So William's officially got her CRM designation.
Nice.
Thank you.
We expect more now.
Plan. Thank you. It was a lot of work. It was interesting.
That is.
Good for you. Thank you. So,
Too bad for Lake Country.
6.1, the recommendation is that council hold an in-camera meeting on the following adjournment of the April 19th meeting of the committee of whole, and that meeting be closed to the public pursuant to the community charter to discuss the legal opinion under section 91I, and further that all persons other than mayor, council, and pertinent staff be excluded from the meeting. And you made that motion,
I'll
second.
make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. And a motion to adjourn.